Hello everyone.
Wasa, hello.
So just tell me, yeah, I've started to record her and tell me at what time we can start.
Yeah, we should start 7, so maybe we can just let's have some soft startup. Yeah, maybe you can start just with talking a little bit about your own chess experience last. Well, not the whole autumn, because we know you very well from your success story in Innsbruck. But I mean, after Innsbruck, maybe you can tell a little bit about what's happened and what's not happened. And so
yeah,
we know a little bit about what's happening.
Yeah, let's start with that. Thank you for suggesting that, Ingor. I'm probably one of these very strange chess players who managed to play a lot of chess during coronavirus. I mean, during this pandemic lately, because a lot of my colleagues from Russia, Ukraine, well, not from European Union, they're struggling and suffering hardly because they have no tournaments at all. And well, even in European Union, we don't have much. So, for instance, a few days ago, I had just short discussion with Basem. I mean, and he said to me that he played last tournament, over the board tournament, in February, which is already like half a year ago or even more. So for me, it was very strange because somehow I managed to play a lot of chess. And yeah, after Innsbruck, Innsbruck itself was very exhausting. Well, you know, the whole story. And after Innsbruck, I came back to Riga. I had to quarantine for 2 weeks. So I had a lot of time to have some rest, to analyze my games, my mistakes, and some good moments of my play. And in September, the first event I played was, I think it was Finnish League. It started in the second weekend of September. So it was very decent, but it's only 2 games. I managed to play against Estonian Grandmaster, and Norman Smies is my, also I can say he's one of the national team members, very well-known Grandmaster, who, by the way, also played lately in Fairness Open, as I remember. Yeah, so we had short weekend there, already starting from this season, and immediately next week I've played in Estonia. There was first Saaremaa Blitz and Rapid tournament, and I was for the first time on this Saaremaa island. I've heard a lot of reviews, very good reviews about this island, that it's very beautiful, and even despite the fact it was first organized tournament, it was with very good prices, with very good atmosphere. So yeah, I would like to come there for some short vacation, and of course for some chess as well. And my results there were also pretty good, because I was nearly in the first place during the whole tournament, but in the end, Daniel Friedman from Germany, who actually also was born in Riga in Latvia, he managed to overtake the lead in the very end, and well, I finished second. So, but still, I was very satisfied with my results.
That was a weekend tournament, yeah? Or
Yes, it was Friday, Sunday tournament, Blitz and Rapid. However, in Blitz, I played pretty badly, but yeah, somehow I felt like rapid tournaments are something pretty much important, but Blitz, it's just matter of your mood and matter of taste, you can say. So it wasn't like big event for me. Yeah, and after that, somehow it took a lot of energy from me because at that time, all these viruses, situation with virus wasn't that terrible as it's now. And we were planning, while we were going back from Saaremaa to Riga, we were planning some training camp for Latvian national team. Then I thought about like 10 different things at the same time. And after that, I got invitation to play for Serbian team. Or I wrote them and they said yes. So yeah, I went pretty much immediately after a tournament in Estonia for 11th round, round robin Serbian team chess championship, and I played on the first board. It was new experience for me because it was extremely tough. We were not playing in masks, however, average of my opponents was over 2550. It was like 2560. 11 rounds in 9 days, so just extremely tough schedule, extremely tough opponents, and yeah, just no time to rest. And I also wasn't fresh, to be honest, because I already played a lot of events in a row without well, too much time for rest. And yeah, this tournament also, to be honest, conditions were not great. So altogether, somehow it felt wrong. But yeah, that's okay. That's fine. And finally, I'm back. I have time finally to have some rest, to organize some master classes, and I'm very happy that I'm with you today. So I started streaming pretty much regularly, and yeah, I want to do it even more often on my Twitch channel. So that's how it is right now.
it seems nice to hear that we are still keeping up with the chess, even if it's not so much on the board for the time being. Everywhere it seems to be now.
Yeah, true that. So shall we wait, or is it time to start?
Yeah, maybe we should ask Arvid and Victor, do you have anything you want to start to discuss or to talk with Nikita with, or are you ready for some hard stuff? What do you say? Arvid, how are you going?
Hej.
Okej, ja, nu hör jag dig. Have you been training hard lately?
Yeah, well, I've been mostly puzzles and stuff like that, but
Puzzles, okay. You use online tools
Yes.
to train tactics?
yes.
And Victor, have you been training also online, or how has your training situation been?
I've also been doing some tactics.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good. What do you think, Nikita? Is the online tools for tactical trainings advantage to the other ones compared to how many puzzles we can solve in very short time? What do you think?
Well, I have very special opinion about how do you call it? There are puzzles and some puzzle. There are puzzle battle puzzles and this tool where on chess.com you have 5 minutes or 3 minutes. What was the name for it?
Puzzle Rush.
Yeah, this puzzle rush. So I think this puzzle rush is not really good for training for trainings because at some point the main reason of the whole game is to reach as much right answers as you can. So at some point you're just trying to do it like super quick, and instead of quality you're going for quantity, which is I think it's just better to try to solve some normal puzzles without any rush, without stress. Even sometimes, to be honest, I'm also using this chess.com or Lichess, whatever. They're pretty similar. So what I'm doing, I'm just clicking on the new puzzle. I have puzzle on the board, and I'm taking my normal board, it's over there, and I'm trying to solve it over the board. And I don't care too much about rating, because like if you solve it in half a minute, then you get, I don't know, 15 points. If it's like solved in 5 minutes, you got 2 points. Well, whatever. I mean, I'm just trying to get better, and I think it's much more instructive and way better for your knowledges and for if you want to improve as a chess player. But if you want rating, then obviously it's better to to be quick and
yeah, for sure.
Not on leashes. On leashes, the time and doesn't matter.
okay, so yeah, maybe there are some settings.
Okay, so we have decided some kind of topic for this night with Nikita. It's called how to defend your game. And obviously it will be the main issue to discuss and to try to follow Nikita's ideas here, and maybe you will get a little bit more into the details of how you are going to make out the evening for us. What do you think, Nikita?
Oh yeah, I have. Well, yeah, the topic is clear, and I have a lot of thoughts, a lot of ideas, and basically I can speak for 2 hours non-stop. That's not a big deal for me, because I've been that huge experience in bad positions. So that's fine. But yeah, I think it's just super important to fight till the end, and I understand that from my experience, from experience of my students, and also I see how I'm following even top tournaments, how they're playing, and even there, I mean, Carlsen or I don't know, Aronian, they're making like super hard mistakes, and even then they're able to survive. But yeah, it's just everything because of their fighting spirit and abilities, and maybe some techniques in the critical moments. So yeah, I think it's because chess has a huge amount of like, say, it's like a safety bag. You have 10 safety bags in your car, and yeah, you just have to spot the right time and the right safety bag.
By the way, Nikita, maybe not everybody has been following your chess wise. How would you define yourself as a chess player? What kind of of style do you have, or do you tend to play like a wizard or like strategic player, or what would you say?
As a wizard, huh? Well, as one of the famous Riga magician, he was from Riga. Then obviously I'm trying to be not to copy him, but
You follow his footsteps, yes?
Yeah, in the footsteps. No, just
Nice to hear. Mm.
but yeah, overall, I think every day we're changing as a person, so we grow up, and our style also changes. So it's important to notice because, let's say, I've seen a lot of games of let's say young Kramnik, and Kramnik after 15 years old, it's like two different chess players. So it is important. And yeah, because sorry about this long intro, but when I was how old is Victor? Actually, you were around 10 or 11? No,
I'm 8.
you're 8. Oh my goodness, you're only 8. Sorry. I thought you were a little bit older, but okay, it's very cute. So you're 8, but at any case, when I was let's say 10 to 14, I was very extremely energetic, basically something like Alexei Shirov, this fire on the board. So I played Benko all the time. I played super aggressive openings, and it was just like I felt this spirit, this true energy. And now I would define my style as solid, pretty much universal, because I'm trying to, I think you have to be universal in 2020. Otherwise, it's just not only in the chess wise, by the way. So as a person in the life, you have to be universal.
What do you mean by universal?
So in the right time, if it's necessary, you have to show that you can attack. If it's necessary, you have to show you have abilities to save your game. You can play aggressively. You can switch to some more positional positions, strategical positions, and well, like, yeah, universal. And yeah, so right now I'm trying to be safe, let's say safe and solid, but at the same time, when I need, when I have options, and I feel this, well, kind of, I'm feeling the blood. I'm trying to use that, and because still I'm feeling as like I'm the fighter, and I always like to play till the end. But starting slowly, and then let's see what will happen in the game.
Yeah, I think it's wise words to listen to when you say we have to be universal, because the game develops, and it's almost impossible to not to adapt to this kind of thinking if we should try to be successful.
Yeah, because in, let's say, 19th century, it was possible to play like, I don't know, let's sacrifice a few pieces, and well, let's see, maybe it works, maybe it's not working. But now, yeah, the world around us changed just significantly, especially with this modern technologies. So we have very precise, well, pretty much precise evaluations of most of the lines. And yeah, so it's now chess changed a lot, but still it's very fun. and instructive, I would say.
By the way, do you think also that the level of defending has been increasing? How to manage to defend really bad positions due
Yes,
to
absolutely.
the help?
Absolutely, because well, again, because of computers, as right now we know a lot of theoretical positions. So let's say first champions of the world, or I mean even strong players, I'm pretty sure they knew way less average GM or even international master knows today, because he has this clear knowledge. This position is drawn, this position I can go there, I know how to defend it. And yeah, speaking about today's topic, I think I will show you like plenty of examples, and I will, yeah, describe why it's like that, and what you have to do to defend. Yeah, and again, let's say in Kasparov times, he had fantastic preparation, and he were dominating the rest of the chess world just because of he had like huge amount of novelties, and he was crushing everyone. He had ideas in every single line, and it was impossible for others to do to do something against that. But now I think it became easier to play for black, definitely. Again, because of computer help and this very concrete steps how to equalize the position out of the opening, for instance.
Yes, it's almost it's very strange to follow the, for example, Norway chess, when Magnus doesn't seem to hesitate to take position, which seems to be, at least for me, like a club player, it seems to be something you don't want to challenge yourself with, but he knows how to use the plus and minuses in the positions, obviously, and create something in the middle game anyway.
Yeah, and
maybe because it's very good to confuse your opponent because they have so many preparations. What do you think?
Well, he just he thinks a little bit different way, because I started following him in 2013 during candidates tournament in London. I remember that very well because I got sick, and it was in November or December, I think December. I got sick, and it was very cold, and basically I spent 2 weeks in a bed, just well because I was sick, and I was at home all the time, and I were following this live streams. I were listening commentaries by famous GMs, and yeah, he's just not trying to prove something out of the opening. So he just goes for a normal game of chess, just normal position, and basically saying, okay, man, I'm just better player. So what do you want? Let's play chess. And yeah, he proves it in most of the cases. So why not? And yeah, I think this this way of playing is also closer to me, because I don't want to prove immediately like I'm going to punch you. I'm just okay, let's go, and I will prove I know psychology and all other stuff better than you.
That's also an important issue regarding us, like chess trainers. philosophy, for instance, because we have this discussion about telling the kids to going very deeply into a special opening compared to getting a broader experience of a broad spectrum of different openings to educate themselves, to recognize and take the next step from there naturally.
Yes,
because
true.
I think, like yourself, that if you see Magnus, it's of course here's a blending technique, but it's also that even if it's said that he is not an expert in an opening, it's not so clear, because I think he's one of the most he can recognize more or less every kind of opening system which can occur.
Yeah, true.
And to handle it very well.
Yeah, and it's important. Yeah, why I said about it's important to be universal nowadays, because it's important to switch from one regime to another. Like now you're even during a short period of the game, like there are 5 moves, so you can switch from adrenaline to some strategical player ability, then switch back, because the situation changes very quickly, and you just have to understand, okay, like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, and yeah, then you can just confuse your opponent, and he's like, that's how it works. No magic, no magic, just chess.
Exactly. Okay, so maybe it's time to discuss some positions. What do you think, Nikita?
Yeah, let's go. Why
Yeah,
not?
yeah.
I'm ready.
Okay.
So welcome everyone. Kind of official intro again. I'm very happy all of you are today with us. We're all together. Welcome everyone. So yeah, today's topic is about defense. It's hard to say what is more important, defending or attacking. Pretty much both of it has to be super important. So let me open first position. 1 second. Okay, let it be this one. Sorry, yeah, I just want to say a few words in the beginning before we switch to the focus on the chess. I had discussions with a few of my friends and colleagues, and yeah, about my rating, because lately I got some improvements from 25 something. Finally, I got 2580, 85, I think was my peak. And yeah, Birger and another my friends and colleagues, they asked me why it was like that, and I think so. I thought about that, and I tried to find the reason. And besides just improvement as a chess player, I think one of the best category was defense. And I understood when you asked me, Ingvar, about this main topic. I thought, okay, what is the most recent and important topic for me right now? And I understood I've saved that much games, just hopeless positions. So it's impossible not to share with you. So maybe it will be, hopefully it will be useful for you in some case. And yeah, it wasn't difficult to find a lot of material. And there are definitely some techniques how to do that. So yeah, let's just go step by step from one position to another. I will not show you whole games from the very first move till the end, but yeah, I just want to show you main positions and some main ideas what to do, and maybe share some of my thoughts I had during the game, and how it is possible to reach normal result out of the hopeless position. Yeah, this is position against Colombian player Ruiz Castilla Joshua Daniel in Russian tournament Alechin Memorial or Alechin. I played with white. It was move 41 already after the time control, so absolutely hopeless situation. I struggled hardly and suffering hardly already out of the opening. Just made a few inaccuracies and mistake. And well, normally, most likely, you just have to lose in, I don't know, 10 moves maybe or something. And I tried my chance. So usually what you're doing when you're in an extremely bad situation, you're trying to make as much problems for your opponent to use his advantage as possible. So because there's a pretty long route from just advantage to the full point, and you have to understand that. Still, you have to be precise, you have to be calm inside. We all know this feeling when you have better position, especially some strong player, and at some point you just play a move, just go somewhere and think, oh my goodness, I'm going to win a grandmaster or something. I've heard also similar comments from my friends and my students. That's fine. I mean, it's just very natural for us. So yeah, the first thing, a long route from point A, advantage or even big advantage, close to winning, to point B, full point. And what we have to understand first as a weakest side, we have to realize that we're in the bad position. We're in a deep trouble. We just have to understand that, because especially youngsters, I don't know, Victor and everyone. I know, especially youngsters, even in bad position, they're trying to use a rule. The best defense is an attack. So whatever, if I'm even losing, I don't have a queen, I will try to punch my opponent. Yeah, at least I will, even if I will lose this game, at least I will mentally feel better somehow. And but it works. It's not a bad strategy, indeed. But you have to find the right time and right moment for that. Not always it works. So I will show you a little bit later, not in this example. And yeah, sometimes, so it's important to think from your opponent's perspective. So just try to imagine you're going to win this game, and what you would do as a, let's say, player who played with black pieces. So definitely, I will, yeah, one more thing, I will tell a lot of psychology today, because I'm using it in my chess and in my life. Arthur Snakeshans, one of my coaches, he showed me that in chess, there are a lot of moments where psychology is extremely important, and yeah, I'm using it pretty frequently to understand what's going on in my opponent's head, not in his pieces, but in his head. What he has in mind and how he's thinking. So yeah, right here, on move 41, I tried to be active. It wasn't necessary though, but yeah, my point was just to get a little bit more active king, and maybe in some cases I can come closer to create some kind of mating net for my king. Obviously, it's extremely far from reality, but doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Over here, of course, he plays Rook G7. Rook D5 was another option, probably even a little bit better, but I mean, both of them were okay. Still, Rook D5, Rook H2, D2, all of that should be good. I hope for something like that, so maybe in some case I can create some perpetual check, you know, these tricks. But yeah, he went Rook G7, and first of all, it's very clear for me, I have to understand my opponent's plan. And as my opponent has only one extra pawn, but here he has two very far advanced protected pass pawns, which is like the most terrible situation you can imagine. Already on 4th and 3rd rank, I was like, when I was playing this game, I also felt a little bit sick, or just I don't know. It was very wrong, and I was like dying during the game. I was playing like this. I thought, oh Jesus Christ, why it happens with me? But you have to play on. You have to play on always. And yeah, first of all, I understood what is my opponent's goal. If it's very clear, yeah, if we go back, it's very clear he has to activate his rook somehow. The easiest way to play rook c1, and then something like rook f1, and maybe even c3, c2, c1, queening, promoting life is perfect, 0-1, delicious dinner, and everything. So yeah, I'm trying to limit his options and to make him. Basically, I'm saying just show your technique. Show if you know how to win, then you know how to win, and it's a fully deserved point. If not, then I will try to find till the end. And yeah, probably I have to say it here. Again, about psychology. Usually, the moment when we make the biggest mistake in the game is after small inaccuracy or small mistake. So it's always working like this. It's the same pattern. You're making small mistake. You're thinking, oh my Lord, why I'm so stupid. I'm the the most terrible chess player on the planet, and you're, oh no. So, and you're thinking very much about your emotions, and you're thinking about, oh my Lord, I had perfect position. Even if it is against a good player, it's double, it's terrible. You're, oh no. And then of course, how it's possible to make a good move. So mentally you're already knocked down, so you can't play on. But so you have to control your emotions, your inner balance. That's step number one, always. I know it's super hard to do, but still. So what happened in the game? My opponent tried to check me. I thought, okay, I'm coming closer. Never mind. Still, position remains absolutely deadly lost. Most likely, Black has like 150 possible moves how to do that. Yeah, that's how it is. It is true. And yeah, he's making King G7 move. I thought, well, okay, King G7, but in reality, he has to play here. He has double pawns, and so we know the main rule. said by one of the famous grandmasters, who said endings of oh no, sorry, where was it? So I've copied his quote of Zigbert Tarsh. In a rook and pawn endings, the rook must be used aggressively. We know, all of us know that. So it must either attack enemy pawns, which is very logical to put some pressure on it. Either you give some active support to the advance of one of its pawns. So it's very easy. So basically everything my opponent had to do was either to play rook c1, rook f1, and then promote, or rook a3, rook a6, rook c6. And then most likely game would be pretty much over. Of course, I would try to use some tricks, but it would be very hard to save the game. But yeah, for some reason, he decided not to do that. And there is a reason. Otherwise, all of us would be 2,700 players. And I'm playing rook h2. And the reason why I'm playing rook h2, I want to create, again, some mating net. It sounds very strange. I mean, you're down one pawn, and your opponent has two pass pawns, which is very close to the promoting, to the first rank. Just go down to the board, and you're, what is this? Rook h2, rook e8. Are you drunk or something? But yeah, it's all about psychology again. It's very, just imagine or remember yourself when you have an advantage. It's way better and way easier when you're in a full control, when already half a point is secured and you're just taking your tea, you're relaxed, you're drinking. Super delicious. You're enjoying your life. You're trying to win. No stress. So full secured point. And when your opponent can do nothing, not a simple any idea to create any threats. So when your opponent is paralyzed, then everything is fine. So we, as a weakest side, if something went wrong in the game, what we have to do, we have to create some threat or potential threat. So because it's always like you can do something and then your opponent will do everything by himself in his head. He will create all threats. There will be some problems for him. All of us knows this feeling. And suddenly you think, oh, yeah, I see there's a problem. So what do I do here? But in reality, there's nothing. Yeah, it's again about our inner psychology. And yeah, that's it. Again, instead of rook a3, I'm pretty sure there is absolutely nothing after rook e8, just one precise move, and I don't know, rook d7, rook d5 again. Or yeah, rook d7, for instance, now. But already I'm somehow trying to create a threat. And my opponent, he thought, okay, never mind, rook c2. And I was already super happy and super positive in this moment when I saw rook c2 on the board, because I can take, and now he has only one pass pawn. Okay, doubled, but still only on c file. And that means potentially, it is endgame 3 against 2, which is drawn. So another very important topic is to be positive thinking. Without that, it's just impossible to do. So yeah, you have to dream a lot, otherwise it's impossible to save this endings. And yeah, it is important because there I know a lot of chess players who are spending like all the time trying to find some way, and their problem is they have bad position. Let's go back for 1 second. So let's say this one, rook g7. I know a lot of chess players who would do pretty much this. So they would spend all their time, let's say they have half an hour, they spend 20 minutes trying to find a real chance. But the reality is there is no real chance. It's just impossible. It's like trying to find a black cat in the dark room. Just there is no cat. It's important to understand. So what you have to do, you just have to improve your position. And let's say if you turn on your computer, it shows -2 or -3 or mate in, I don't know, 15 moves. So it's not important how bad is position. It's just, so mathematically, it's just lost. Mathematically, it's not possible to find some resources. You will spend all of your time and then you will lose, and you will go to the hotel room and thinking, oh yeah, maybe even spending even more time, which is like, what? What is wrong with you? Just bad position, there's nothing. Yeah, so you just have to improve your position. And another thing is, obviously you have to believe in yourself and believe in your opponents in the on the bad side that he will make a mistake, and wait for that mistake. So, and provoke this mistake, of course. Yeah, I provoked this mistake. Rook c2. Now I take, and step number 2 is somehow to exchange g4 pawn to c2 pawn. Which is not an easy task, to be honest. But my king is more active compared to his king, and still maybe it's somehow possible. Still, position is lost, I have to admit. Still, it is lost, but it's already one step closer, that much closer to the draw, to the good result, but still terribly bad. So what I am trying to do here, first of all, the first step, again, first step is to attack the pawn, provoking rook f2. And now, unfortunately, I can't come like this via this route to the queen side. So the only option to do that is by playing king h4, king g3, and then coming closer. So I have no choice. I have to do that. Indeed, it is very difficult to do during the game because you want to achieve the results pretty much immediately, but you have to suffer and you have to control these bad emotions that will appear, because sooner or later you will think, oh my lord, what am I doing here? There is dinner waiting for me and I'm still here, and no guarantee I'll get this half a point. Yeah, that's not fun, but well, I don't know, maybe it is fun, to be honest. So he's coming closer, I'm coming closer, I'm coming closer. I'm using this shouldering, well, kind of controlling some squares. So still doing pretty much fine here. Already closer, already much better than it was before. And there was a precise way for him to play a5, and well, then if I try to support this pawn, then he just takes and comes to b3, and then he has 2 against 1. Well, most likely he would win, but again, it takes some technique, some knowledges, and some confidence. Yeah, it is very very important. And after the game, it's finished in 50 moves. He said to me, and we played around 6 hours. He said to me if he would win, he would secure GM, his last GM norm. So that's why he had this extra pressure, and yeah, extra pressure to him. So instead of that, instead of playing a5, he played rook d4, played king f3. He came closer, and it was like, oh, what? Seriously? Seriously? Just 3 pawn? Is it a 3 pawn? Wow! It was like, I don't know, New Year's gift or something. So he came closer, I came closer with a king, and finally he takes on g4. And here I thought, okay, so in my head, I saw a picture where I had 2 pawns against 3 pawns, which is, let's say, if he has pawn, or yeah, if I have king on b2, it's a just dead draw. It's no way for him how to progress, and it's very much safe, very much safe. But I have the problem. He cuts off my king from both sides, and obviously I can't exchange rooks, so that's a bad sign. So if he tries to cut off my king, then I will cut his king. Fair enough, I mean. Yeah, he's doing nothing, and I'm trying somehow to to save this position. Maybe hopeless, I don't know, but at least it's coming closer and closer to the real chances. Because again, let's remember, everything started with this position, which is completely deadly lost without a single chance. Now we have 3 against 2. He's coming closer. I have to play rook f1, and then he plays rook a3. I thought, well, no one asked me. I have to play rook a1. His rook is active. I have a weakness on b4. Still, my king is far away. Well, at least his king even on g3. So maybe still some chances. And he plays rook d3. I just repeat position as nothing would happen. I'm trying to be calm. However, I understand I already did a huge job, and I want to save this game. And I know it's very real, and I see he's nervous. So he's playing something like king g4. This position already was once, so I play rook f2, and claiming, okay, then we already have 2-time repetition, so maybe he can, I could claim for a 3-time repetition. He plays rook a3. Finally, I'm coming closer. And here's the problem. I play rook d2. He comes closer, and yeah, the problem with rook b2 was, if I play rook b2 here, my rook is extremely passive, and we remember in the rook and pawn endings, rook must be used aggressively. So this is the way, very instructive way to show that. Aggressive rook, red one, marked with red. Passive, useless rook, marked with green. So I understood his plan is extremely simple. he's just coming closer with a king, and I can do nothing against this invade to c3, and that's all she wrote. He just takes on b4, and then game. Well, of course I can play on, but it's just deadly lost. And then I thought, is it over? Is it over? Seriously, I suffered for that long, and I'll not get anything. Mad life. Yeah, and then I thought, okay, what I can do else? And I recognized interesting thing. His rook is a little bit stuck on a4, and I thought, hold on, maybe somehow, especially as he already played a6, he will not have time and opportunity to go out with a rook. Okay, you have 2 extra pawns, and if you can do nothing with them, so why I should be suffering? So I went for rook h2, and after, obviously he took on b4, and I just gave a check. King comes closer, and then I play king c2. And surprisingly, so my point is, surprisingly, after he plays rook a3, rook a4, sorry, I play a3, and another thing I have to say is theoretical positions. So why you have, it's important to have some knowledge, because when you have knowledge, you know which positions are drawn, theoretically, which positions are lost. And I've read the Dvoretsky book a few years ago. I even went just with a book. I typed it in the computer, some endgames, and I knew A and C or F and H pawns are drawn, even despite the fact we don't have 2 pawns. It's theoretically drawn, so there is a defense objectively. And of course, it's not fun to defend such an endgame, but yeah, your defense, yeah, you can go to that position just because you know this is draw. This has to be draw. Okay, it's still terribly bad, but it is a draw. And I thought, okay, instead of that, he plays king e5, very strange move. But he had a lot of other moves. I'm not sure if it's that necessary to show. I will just show in the blitz mode. So in case he goes a5, then it's probably the simplest way, because I'm playing rook a3, and either he plays a4, and then his rook for sure will never ever go out. What is this? I mean, even another pawn would be more useful. No way. And remember, before that, he had another rook on c3. So yeah, and this endgame also is drawn, because I'm just waiting. I'm like la 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 la. Very fun, very fun. And yeah, I just play king b1, and after king c1, he has no way how to win this game, because after c2 I play a3, and there's a stalemate. And if he goes a3 first, then I run to the corner. Or yeah, I think king b1. Oh no, king b1. No. King b1 was lost. Yeah, sorry. That was what I missed during the game. Why I did not went for that one. King b1, yeah, and then he just have this extra tempi, and then he is winning. But yeah, you can play king d1, and you have this opposition, and it's just draw. So let's go back. But even with, I thought I were considering something like king d5, But then I'm starting to check him from H file, just checking. I'm going back, and if he plays rook A4, trying to come with a king closer, then again I'm playing A3. And again, we're reaching the same end game, which is drawn. So I was like, yoo-hoo, super happy. Perfect, good job, Nikita. Yeah, and after king A4, I think I'm just attacking the pawn, and after A5, yeah, he has to play C3, sacrificing the pawn, and again it's 2 against 1, which should be a draw. So yeah, the whole end game is drawn. He plays king E5, and I think the rest of the game is not that important because he blundered rook A3. I won the pawn, and yeah, still you can see. No, you can't see because I'm showing only the board. But right now it's move 69, and the game finished on move 111. So still, obviously he tried to play on. He wanted to. He was mad on himself, on myself, on the position, on the whole world. I don't know, but yeah, he played on, and well, okay. It took a lot of hours, but yeah, everything started with this first step and your inner control of your inner emotions. Well, yeah, I think we can finish with this example.
Can I just have one technical question about the position, or?
Yes.
I was just wondering a little bit about the last, so to speak, the final step where you got active with the rook. Was it already drawn now? I mean, if he doesn't let you take the A pawn, he could go in with his king, yeah?
Yeah, like technically, I'm not even obliged to take this pawn. So technically, I think I can play rook E3 and just wait.
And keep his king out, you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
But I think the easiest way was to play rook A3 and just take this pawn, because now after rook A4, I just exchange and come closer with a king.
But he didn't have the chance to put his rook on the A file, or?
No, I mean he could, but he blundered.
Okay. So after that, it was a draw. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
He played king F4. I took on A6, and if he goes rook A4 now, then yeah, I take, and even I'm winning both pawns, and I can press for a win, kind of.
Yeah.
My revenge.
Yeah.
Just
so
joking.
you had a very good dinner that evening,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah,
Okay.
kind of. I slept very well. So yeah, that was one game. Yeah, I really want to share with you this example because it is very instructive, and you just have to know this technique. It's absolutely must. So I played. It was the last open tournament in how do you call it? Pre-quarantine era. Before quarantine started in February. I mean, officially in Europe. So I played in Austria, like normal chess player. Nothing was wrong. And in round 3, I played against a girl from Mongolia. Actually, a very strong girl, over 2,400 player. So I played with all the respect. And yeah, on move 29, we have this position. So I missed some things. And yeah, somehow she's just, yeah, I'm not sure if it's winning, but definitely she has perfect chances to win the game. That's for sure. And I have only 2 pawns, which is pretty much useless. She has 5 pawns and also strong bishop and rook, and my rooks are like I don't know. They're doing nothing. They're even placed very weirdly on c5 and g6. So obviously, again, step number 1, Mr. Psychologist, just control your emotions. Don't do anything stupid, because still you have some safety back and still it's possible to play on. The first thing, second thing already, is to understand the opponent's plan. And plan is, plan is very simple. So just down to the board, like that, ignoring this this little rook on c5. No one cares. And yeah, somehow I have to fight, and I have to do something. I have to create counter threats. So my first thought was to attack h2 pawn. I have to activate this one of the rooks. It's impossible to do with to work with c5 rook on c5, but I can try to provoke at least the pawns on the king side. So she plays h4. I'm coming closer with a king. She plays b4. Of course, I'm just going back. She plays e5. Okay, pretty much nothing to do. So I played king e7 just because of, well, maybe I wanted to play rook f6 before she played e5. So rook f6, maybe take on f4, then at least I have some objects of attack. Playing rook f8, rook f4, rook h4, then I have pass pawn, and yeah, hope no one will promote during my genius plan while I'm doing everything on the king side. But yeah, mad life. She plays e5, unfortunately. My options are very limited. But I understand, again, not only in rook and pawns endgame, you need to have your, need to use your rook very aggressively, but also in this type of positions, if you can say so. So I'm trying to activate my rook. I can try to bring it to the game as quick as possible, using some tempes, attacking the pawn, so she has to spend tempe for g4. Again, position mathematically and objectively is terribly lost.
Must be.
Yeah, you have to keep it in mind, because it's just super simple plan. Not even king b2, king b3, but just immediately king b3, immediately c4, c5, and well, it just even optically it looks hopeless. If you need, you can even play bishop d3, securing full safety of your position, which is not fun at all, at least during the game over the board. So she plays king b2, a very logical move, and so just trying to make her plan. And yeah, I have to add here, now it's move 34. It is important, because move 34, normally we have additional time after move 40, so still we have six full moves before the time control, and she was in the time trouble. She had something like 5 minutes, maybe even less, while maybe I was around 25-30 minutes. So, well, at any case, I had plenty of time. She was struggling with the time, and normally we're not only fighting for the position, but we're also fighting for the time. Yeah, someone joined. Yeah, another one. Everyone, welcome to the show. You're joined to the very perfect moment. Again, yeah, move 34, 6 moves to the time control, and we're not only fighting for like chess-wise, but we're also fighting for the time, and time is a huge part of the game. If you have perfect position but you have 0 time, then you are losing. That's the rule. And here, another very nice technique you have here, and you should use it every time when you have some extra time and your opponent is in a deep time trouble. So what you do, you're not making some move like, okay, let's say I will play king d7, and my opponent instantly plays the very simple move, and then I'm thinking for 5 more minutes, giving a huge time for my opponent to calculate all possible lines, all possible threats, all possible ideas, and well, I think I will play king c6. So then your opponent takes the pawn immediately, and then you think for 5 more minutes. No. So first of all, in this moment, you have to be super annoying person. I know that's not it's not fine in the real life, but well, during the game, you have to switch. So what you have to do, you have to play by series. So you have to play move. Your opponent makes move. You play instantly another move. So by that, you're again using our psychology. It's very annoying because you make a move, your opponent makes a move, you make a move, and it's already emotions. So it's out of comfort zone. It's already something, and especially if you have some threat, especially if your opponent has no comfort zone, no this feeling that he's playing for a win without risk. So you also have to create some threats. Whatever these threats looks like, if it's not important, but just some threat, he has to think also how to he has to switch from the attack to the safe mode. So I have something to worry about. And what I did here, again, objectively, it's something like -2 or -3, or sorry, +3 for white. But here I'm playing Rook F8. So I spent like something like 5 minutes maybe for all this this thinking process. I'm playing Rook F8 very fast. She plays Rook E4, maybe spending something like minutes. I play Rook F2 instantly, just even playing it very fastly, like showing the energy. She plays B5, spending 1 more minute, so she has some not seconds, but maybe 1 or 2 minutes, and instantly I'm playing Rook C to F8. So just I wrote the move and instantly pulled out my move. So she makes another very standard move, very logical one. She's coming closer, and instantly I'm playing Rook F4. Just no time to rest, no time to control what's going on, and whatever, is it good or bad? Never mind. I'm just trying to exchange the very active piece. After exchanges, in case she exchanges, I have some control on the 4th rank, and her king is kind of cut it off. But what is more important, again, a bit of psychology. She has to create, to make this decision, and I'm pretty sure all of us know how how does it feel when you have no time and you have to create, not to create, but you have to make some decision. You're starting to be stressed, but in reality everything is still fine. But your brain says, no, what to do, I don't know. In reality, everything is fine, objectively. But again, it's all about switching from calm mind to this very emotional, and so you're trying to destabilize your opponents, and yeah, that's the best you can do. Again, I'm pretty sure if we go a little bit back, let's say position after G4, I'm pretty sure a lot of no disrespect to 2200 players or to, I don't know, 2000 players or below, doesn't matter. I'm not saying about that, but they would try to, whatever rating is, even grandmasters, a lot of players would try to find some objective way how to create the problems. But again, in reality, you can't create the problems because your position is very bad. Everything you can do is just play on emotions. You can, yeah, switch to some activity and you can improve your position. So I play rook f4. She spent most of her time, and a little bit unexpectedly maybe, but she took on f4. The best was to play rook e3. So I already, however, still rook f4 is fine. So she goes for the simplest one. And again, it's very important rule. When we have an advantage, and somehow now she has to make this decision, she has to be precise to keep the advantage on the board. So normally in this atmosphere where we have to be precise and we have to calculate and we have to understand what are the threats and is there any threat, we're trying to go for the simplest option. Like, okay, at least there it's very clear that I can somehow evaluate this position. Maybe it is not the best one, but at least it's very clear that what's going on the board. And now, after I took on f4, after we exchange on f4, it's move 39. So 2 more moves she has to make before the time control, and she plays b6. I immediately go king d8 because, well, I want to come closer with the king somehow. And now she plays c4, which is a mistake. Move 40. c4 is a mistake. She had to make some other move, and then still she has very decent chances even to win the game. But she plays c4, a very natural move, I have to say. c4 looks like probably top choice for me. So, and yeah, the reason why it is a mistake, because now I'm making this kind of a triangle. So I just played king d8, and now I'm playing king d7. And the reason why I can do now, because after c4, no longer bishop can come to b5. So this pawn is somehow disturbing bishop to join to the action. And yeah, now we already reached from the, again, I will show you one more time, from this position, terribly lost without any single chance what is this rook doing? And h6, please kill me softly. To this very normal position where she has 3 pawns and bishop for the rook, but these pawns are not actually going closer. It's hard to create some threats, and now it's just equality. I'll not.
Are there any chances for black in this position?
Yeah, good question. So actually, I think it was the question I asked myself in this moment. So, what if, what if I can win the game out of the terribly lost position? Okay, then I will show you what happened in the game. So she played bishop c4, a very normal move. I can't take because then pawn just comes closer. The only move is rook f8. She takes on e6, and I have, unfortunately, either I have to play king b6, king c7. Well, most likely some draw, but white's pressing for the win. So when you're playing, you're also, it's important to learn how to keep this tension on the board, not to force the events, but somehow to keep alive this game, not to force too much. And I spent a lot of time here calculating all lines, and that was exactly what I wanted to do, because I wanted to play on this position. I felt she has to be in the bad emotional mood after losing that huge part of her advantage. And I thought I'm relatively safe in this position. That's why I went for rook e4. And yeah, important idea was what happens in case she plays bishop b5. Because if I take with a king, or even I can take with a king, because in b7 I have this rook b4 check, and I'm just in time to prevent queening. So this idea is not working, and she goes for h5. The reason why, one second. Yeah, the reason why I didn't play rook g4 was, let me remember. I think it was something like bishop e6 with idea to play bishop d5. Could it be? Yeah, let's say bishop e6, rook e4, and bishop d5. This interesting idea. And if I take, I have to take, then b7, and again, queen is too far advanced.
Wait, instead of going, go back a move.
Yeah.
Why can't you take on h4?
Yeah, I can take on h4, but here, was it bishop c4? Yeah, I think it was bishop c4, if I'm not mistaken. Bishop d5. Or maybe it also was bishop d5, because it was very, very concrete. Let's say b7 to rook b4, king c3. There was some e6, e7 ideas.
Okay. And go back a move here. After bishop checks.
Yeah.
Is it possible to go king e7?
King d7?
D7, yeah.
King d7. I think then most likely she's just pushing c pawn. c6, c7 looks a little bit annoying.
Okay.
Yeah, somehow, well, I'm pretty sure rook g4 also was a move, I think. But yeah, somehow I just really wanted to play on, and she played h5, and now I took on g4. Why I played like that? Good question. I think because while she had pawn on h4, she were controlling g5 square, and now after bishop e6, I played rook g5, attacking both h5 and e5 pawn, because it was more important to get e5 pawn than h pawn. That was my pawn. That was my point, and my pawn as well. And after bishop c8 definitely was a wrong move. She had to do something else. Don't ask me, please, what precisely. I don't remember. But it was still about equality, and I remember just this emotion during the game. She played bishop c8, and I thought, hold on, bishop c8? That's how you play chess? No, 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 no. I just take on e5, and you have no way how to make any progress. So after b7, I just play king c7, and after king c4, I just took on h5. And yeah, the reality is now I have also also pass pawn, and it's just easily winning. So still we played for 20 moves more, but yeah, I just won. She tried to basically these pawns are just useless, and I tried to cut off again this king, and a few times I think repeated position. Then I came back, and now again after coming here, provoking king to d5. I played rook g3. Why I did that? Yeah, probably because I wanted to, in case she goes to e4, I wanted to meet king f4 with h4. And now my idea is to cut king using third rank. So any move, let's say, I don't know, bishop c8, and then I'm playing rook b3. Again, some move, bishop d7 and h3, and now king can come closer already from this side. And yeah, basically that's what happens in this game. But everything started. Why it's important to play on? That's how sounds our topic, because sometimes you can even win from the bad position. So as we all know, in chess, win that one who makes a mistake, not the last one, but last but one. That's how it is. So everything started from that position, and yeah, after that game, I felt somehow at the same time disappointed and very happy. Disappointed because I played like some garbage chess, but at the same time, yeah, I managed to win even out of this position. And yeah, what you have to remember, this technique is super important to not to give your opponent time to think. So just focus, find plan for your opponent, find your own plan, create some trick or bad strategy, and try to play on your opponent's emotions. And objectively, again, you will most likely not find any way, because everywhere mathematically there will be nothing for you.
So it's quite important to emphasize that now we are talking about positions that obviously are lost, and you feel or you know almost that it should not be possible to save it. because
Yeah.
I mean, if it's possible to save and it's uncertain, then you obviously would maybe manage the time differently.
Yeah, and what I wanted to say is it's very much, let's say, this moment when I played Rook F8, Rook F2, Rook F8, Rook F4. One of my friends, a very good Latvian coach, probably one of the best, WasaSKWebinar. Some years ago, I've heard a very nice way of thinking in such cases. So I'm not sure if it's his thought, but at least I've heard from him. So in this case, you're like, you have the ball, you're throwing this ball to your opponent, and in case he can catch it, well, okay, then okay, so he showed the technique. But in case he not, yeah, then you can have an upper hand. And I thought also it's the same pattern works in basketball and football. In football, when someone is in the corner, in the very corner, and behind him there are two defenders, so he can go out because he's in the very corner, and he just tries to hit the ball in opponent's defender's leg, and then he has the ball, he saves the ball. So it's, I mean, the pattern works the same way, and in basketball also just save the ball this way. So yeah, this is what happened in this game. I have another super long but super instructive game. Shall I show it or other one? No, let's do it. It's just impossible not to show that. Let's start from this position. I played against good grandmaster 2550 in St. Petersburg round robin tournament, and I missed something in the opening. Yeah, another question why I'm missing so much something in the opening. A very reasonable one. What's wrong with me? But yeah, it happens. I mean, it happens. Unfortunately, or maybe not unfortunately, we're extremely far from ideal players, and that's how life is. And when you're going to the game, you're always thinking you're in the good mood, most likely, and you're thinking, okay, is it a perfect day for a perfect game? You say yes, and then during the game everything is possible. So yeah, during this game I've missed something, and I got to really terrible position out of the opening. Just look at this. My king is still in the center. My opponent, I'm like playing Sicilian without 10 piece or something, and my opponent, he has huge pressure, and even now he plays bishop f4, just developing his bishop, and playing queen e1 puts even more pressure to all of my minor pieces. Somehow I can make castle, and the whole system is not collapsing immediately. Should be extremely happy about that. And yeah, actually it's bad, but it's not lost, I have to say. He took bishop c6. Knight c6 could have been a little bit stronger, but again, so takes, and I thought, hold on, it's bad position, but it's not lost yet. So still I can play on, why not? And when he took on c6 this way with the bishop, I understood he wants to go for bishop e5, queen c5. So my point is, if he takes with a rook, I have this nice rook e8, and because of this pin and this pin, he can't really protect e5 pawn. So sorry, not pawn, but bishop. So he goes for bishop g7, and I play rook e8. So it already looks way better, because in the opening it looked pretty much like over. I thought position could finish, the game could finish in 10 moves. But yeah, somehow I'm still alive, and he plays bishop f6. So normally I have these feelings about this kind of positions and this kind of situations. Imagine you have a yacht or boat at least, and you're somewhere in the sea in your boat, everything is fine, and then somehow just storm starts out of nowhere, and you have to find a quiet place where you could be safe. Some, I don't know, some quiet place. And these quiet places in chess are rook endgames and opposite color bishop endgames. So this is your your goal where you have to reach, because these endgames normally are the safest one, even without material, even without a lot of material. You have a huge opportunities to save it. As we already have seen, I've made a draw without 2 pawns in the rook endgame, and I thought when I were playing this position, I thought 1 pawn. I'm only 1 pawn down. Elementary, easy. I will save it. So I tried to keep the tension and attacking f6 bishop. He plays rook d1, and I really didn't want to take on f6 because I thought he can take, and in case I take, I have to exchange, and then again he has a very active rook. Next move probably rook c7, and I can really do nothing with my terrible rook on a8. That's why, or even, yeah, maybe he can try to do something else. That's why I thought I will exchange rooks, bring my second rook to the game, queen d7 or rook d7. Okay, rook d7, I have queen b1, but queen d7 is not working because of takes and mate on e1. That much we see. And here, again, I calculated this line that I'm going to play queen e6. In case he goes for queen g3, then I want to exchange these queens, please. I will exchange. Again, he has no rook d7 because of back rank problems. And here he plays h3. So now he already has this threat of playing queen g3 and mate me. So I have to exchange. And I can't really protect this bishop. I can't play rook e6 because he takes, and he has already 2 extra pawns and 1 pass pawn, which is not fun at all. That's why I thought, okay, but I can counterattack. So I'm counterattacking a2. So takes, and we are reaching this position. So we have rooks, so potentially rook endgame. We have opposite colors bishops, potentially a very good chances for a draw if somehow we will go there. So out of the bad position, you have to find to pay attention definitely to such things. So it helps a lot to find right path to save the game. And he plays rook a6. And I thought, Jesus Christ, did I just miss that? But thankfully, I have a very nice resource. Rook e1 first. Check, goes back, goes to h2, and then I go to e6. I'm pretty sure bishop endgame has to be easy drawn. That's why he takes, and in case he takes on a7, I take, and well, still, obviously he has chances, but okay, show me your technique. I'm pretty sure it's not an easy task to win this endgame, because I will keep my rook in the very active position. I will come closer with the king. I will activate my pawns, and in case he pushes his pawn, then I just play rook b2, and well, still it's not easy to prove he can do something. Even though maybe he still has pretty good chances to win. But okay, I thought at least let's play it. Instead of that, he plays king g1. I thought, ooh. Again, I didn't want to play a6. That's why I went for a counterattack. Of course, hoping maybe for some reason he will decide to take on a7. But of course, in reality, no one will take, because 3 against 2, whenever I have the second pawn, g6, g7, f6, I don't know, f5, maybe even h6 is draw. So yeah, he's coming closer with the king. His plan is very simple. He wants to come to d3, c3, then he's freeing his rook, and then he can remaneuver it somehow. But now, after he played king f1, I'm trying to be very reactive. I'm trying to put my rook on c2, and then he has his rook is very much misplaced on a2. So, well, trying to use all patterns. He goes b4. To be honest, I missed this one a little bit, but still, I have nothing better than that. And well, again, I'm trying to be active. I'm trying to put my rook behind, trying to place it behind the pawn. So now he has to place it on the very loose position, but he has a plan. He has a plan of coming closer or via this route to c2, and yeah, nothing much for me to do. So I have to throw a check. Of course, he defending his pawns. And I thought, if I will play king g7, for instance, it looks too slow. Let's say he can play g4 or g3, but let's say g4, then f3 or f4, and then just king d4, king c5. So king g6, f4, some move, maybe taking, or maybe ignoring me, just king d4, king c5, rook a7, and then he has already pawns here. Most likely he can just take, not giving me this opportunity to have a pass pawn on h4. Yeah, then he just coming closer, taking the pawn, and then he has this passer. With probably just this has to be lost. That's why, yeah, sorry, you can say if I need to slow down, feel free to say it, because normally I'm just saying la 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 la. Okay, like this, like this, like this, like this. Everything is clear, right, guys? Yeah. So let's go.
Okay, a question in between, if it's okay. So just
yeah.
before the king started to move, I guess then you already calculated if he would have time to immediately go with the king to the c file and protect the b pawn, and but then you would have time to take the f and g pawn and probably save it. But did you calculate that to the bottom before you?
Well, obviously not till the end because it's super hard. But
yeah, but I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but in general, I knew in all these end games, pretty much all ideas are very much the same. So when the strongest side has pass pawn or potential pass pawn, as we have here, the best defense is attack. But you have to know how to attack, because let's say this line I've showed just g4, king g6, f4, h5. So the best reaction for weakest side is to create counterplay on the another side of the board. It's the only way how to do that. And of course, here you're not exchanging pawns because, okay, then you have zero counterplay. But here, if you manage to play h4, then you can play rook b3, rook a7, and again, the same psychological pattern works again. Your opponent is not completely safe. He's not completely enjoying his life. He has to worry about this pass pawn as well. So this is very much similar to all endgames, 3 against 3. And white has B pass pawn, A pass pawn, C pass pawn. Still, it's more or less always the same. So just some counterplay on another flank of the board. Whew. So yeah, instead of that, I've calculated another idea. So yeah, answering to your questioning, where I understood I have a huge problems if I start with king g7, he plays g4, and then I can't really create this counterplay. That was the reason why I decided not to go for king g7. Instead of that, I played h5 immediately. And on the one hand, I've already created some potential counterplay on the king side. On the other hand, now I have another problem. My pawn is far away advanced from my king. And of course, my opponent noticed that, as he's a grandmaster. So he just takes. Oops, sorry. Yeah, so I play h5. He takes on a7. I take on b4, and he plays rook a5. Of course, I've calculated. I've seen this position, and the only way how to save the pawn is to play h4. I have to push it. He plays rook g5. I play king f8. He plays rook g4. And my point was, although I can't exchange rook g4, just lost pawn endgame. I have 2 squares after throwing a check. I have 2 squares. This very well-known long part of the board. Usually, rook is on a3. Yeah, to have this three ranks between rook and king, but even 2 is enough. So yeah, the point is I can check as much as I want, and always I have this counterplay. Yeah, if he goes king f4, then I have counter attack. If he goes king f3, then I have attack all the time, and he has no place to, no way how to behind the bush. Yeah, basically. But he played king e4. That was pretty smart, because now if I play rook b2, then he has f4, I think. f4, maybe even f5, or king f5, king f6, king g5, and then he takes h4 pawn with a king. And his rook is the perfect defender, and the same, sorry, too much errors. I'm like Nakamura. And at the same time, it cuts off my king, so there's perfect place for the rook. That's why I went for rook b5, as now he can't take because I go rook b4. A lot of tricks here, so he plays rook f4, I go rook h5. Again, rook has to be active. Well, unfortunately, sometimes it is how it is. So not always my rooks are very active. If he goes king g4, then, well, at least I can play rook g6, I think. So he plays rook f5, I play f6, he comes closer, and I see his plan. He wants to play rook h5, so if I come closer, he plays rook h5, and throwing a check, and he just goes back. And this pawn dies, and unfortunately he has 2 pawns advantage, and this has to be good sooner or later, but he has to convert it to the full point. Again, from the very beginning, very bad position, point A to point B, full point. You have to make normally, you have to make a very long walk. And instead of playing king f7 here on move 44, I'm throwing a check. So if you want to go back, I'm playing rook h6, everything is fine. And guess what? He takes on h4, I'm taking on g2, he takes on f6, I'm playing king g7, and again we're reaching the same position, but now already h and f pawn in action, and it was first time when this position with h and f pawns appears in my practice. And of course, it wasn't like that. I was sitting previous evening, holding Dvoretsky's book in my hands, like, okay, so so what do we have here? H and F pawns. So that's how I have to play. It was already 2 or 3 years ago. I've checked how you have to play, and obviously it was super long time ago, and it's already move 46, so we played for 3 or I don't know 3.5 hours, and now I have to defend this position, which is super tough. But at least now I'm pretty sure, again, speaking in terms of knowledge is a power, because it gives you fundamental confidence of knowing you're on the right path, you're going right into the right direction. It's not easier, although you just know, but still it's the same difficult to play. But yeah, at least yeah, it's important to have this confidence. Otherwise, you're just suffering and you're like, and then sooner or later. But you're missing something. And yeah, even despite this fact, I was very optimistic here because finally I've reached this position. If I lose, then I have to work way more on my end games. If I manage to not to lose, then I'm a hero, at least for today. And of course, I'm not allowing to exchange the pawns, to exchange queens, sorry, not queens, rooks. Um, so I'm just making some moves, waiting because again, it makes no sense to, I don't know, try to find the best move here because in any case, you can't prevent these pawns of going down to the board. So you just, at some point, of course, you have to focus, but you don't need to focus too much until some moment. So I'm trying to prevent kind of coming closer, some checks and pins, but nothing more than that. So definitely you don't need to spend too much time on such moves. And yeah, everything I remembered of what I've learned before, that you have to keep king in front of more advanced pawn. That was the rule. And I remember briefly some ideas, but nothing more than that. And again, I had some knowledges. Let's say if we don't have this pawn on the board, only playing against f pawn, then king has to be on the short side. This is short side. This is long side. So king has to be on this short side, not on this side. And then it is pretty much draw always. So that's why, sorry, 1 second. Yeah, it is right now move 60. And what I did here, I'm trying to, yeah, this is a very critical position because now I'm not sure if I did right. I think yes. But, as I remember, king f7 also was possible to play. So normally you can keep your king on f file or c file as well. So he tried to, I don't know, also wait most likely. So what you have to remember and what you have to know here is A1 is the perfect square for your rook because you can attack from both sides, either from behind, rook g1, or you can throw also checks from another side. So that's why, and well, corner is the best square for the rook usually. So I'm throwing some checks. He tries to hide behind his pawn. I'm attacking. He's coming closer. I'm attacking. He's coming closer, and then I'm going again to attack from the other side. So he's coming closer, and now I'm waiting because if I'm attacking immediately, then he can hide, and then he has time, so he can throw a check, or maybe he can go somewhere here, rook d6, rook d6, and he has time. So what I'm doing here, I'm waiting, and then I'm coming closer. And I knew I can take here. No pawn grabbing, kids, guys, everyone, Ingvar.
Sure.
Yeah, because of the check, and now king is already too far away. So we won h5 pawn, but we lost the game. That's how it is. Check, and just pawn just goes down to the board. So this is a mistake, but As I remember, this was umbrella, or how do you call it, when king hides behind the pawn. It was kind of an umbrella, so you're hiding. So yeah, my opponent just waits. I'm also waiting. I'm trying to prevent any invade to the 7th rank. Okay, fair enough. So it moves. It's only moved 70 only. Have to add. So I'm attacking. As we mentioned before, rook has to be in active position, either to attack the pawn or to support your pawn. So very simple rule. And king, pretty much the same. So rook b5, rook e5. He tries to make a progress. I'm, of course, arguing. I have my my own ideas, my own plans. Tries to mate me. Now I'm attacking him. He comes closer. King g5, and here actually after king g7, I was very amazed because somehow I thought I can take it. Can't, because then he can promote his pawn. But in reality, it turned out after king f5, check, check. Here, rook e6, king f5, it is draw, because I have this perpetual attack. So I could have taken on move 74 and just made a draw. Or let's say king b7, the same one, king f5. Somehow I thought, I don't know, we already were playing in seconds, and I don't know, most likely a lack of confidence or concentration. And I took on h5 because I knew this position is drawn. So, which is actually also not bad approach. So I've heard from several coaches, if you have several ways where you can go, several lines, it's better to choose that one where you can evaluate the position, or like you have knowledges it is drawn. So in this case, I knew this position is drawn because I'm starting to check him. He's playing f6, and now I'm playing king h6, and it is draw. Even though it looks scary, I know, but it is draw. He can't make a progress because I'm starting to attack him all the time. Then I'm waiting again, and he just has no time to play rook e1, rook h1. So basically, the rest of the game, now it's move 80. We play it until 113. So it is another 6-hour game. But yeah. Very fun, very fun, very fun. Yeah, just checking all the time. And yeah, at some point he can play, yeah, this defending resources. If he plays f7, I'm coming closer with a king. That's it. And he can't promote, he can't go anywhere with a rook, because then I have checks. If he stays in the 7th rank, then he makes no progress. A very simple rule. And if he goes somewhere, let's say rook b7, king e8, why it's important that it is this long part of the board? Because of course no one takes an f7, then we're losing our rook in a few moves. So what you have to do, you have to keep checking, patiently keep checking. Kids and Ingvar. Yeah, so that's how this game went, and yeah, he tried to do, and yeah, I have to say, if you're the strongest side in this position, there's no need to agree to a draw immediately. So Just so my opponent did everything right. Just try to keep on, try to use this this system, try to attack from one side, try to repeat moves 20 times, and then if you have one idea, try to use it. Maybe it's not easy to be precise under this pressure. Yeah, and here again, everything you do, just attack the pawn, and opponent can do nothing. And yeah, you have to know another why knowledge is a power, because you can't go back, because passive defense works only with knight pawn on G or B line, B file. All other lines are losing, because now this is not working, because after king G8, opponent has F7 and then rook H8. If he has pawn on G7, then board is too short, too small. We don't have what is there? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Nothing I7 and I8. Yeah, so overall, what I have to say about this game and the patterns you have to understand. Again, try to find this either rook endgames or bishop endgames. They are extremely, as you have seen today, even without few pawns, you can save the game. You can find a lot of resources and always play till the end, because sometimes you can, all of us, we're humans, and we are making mistakes, including grandmasters, including top grandmasters like Carlsen, I don't know, Nakamura, Aronian, whatever, Mamidyarov. Everyone makes mistakes, and not a single game was lost. How do you say it? Like, yeah, it just makes no sense to resign too early. Just play on, try your best, and why not? Sometimes maybe your opponent will look at you like, seriously, what is wrong with him? It's
Yeah.
deadly lost.
Yeah.
So he'll stare at you and say, huh? Just resign, resign. No, okay, you have to be calm, and there's nothing wrong with playing on. And yeah, again, theoretical positions are super important, because if you know these theoretical positions, it's your very important base to save a lot of points.
Regarding these two latest examples, where it's obviously is a draw if you play correctly. Let's say old times before the increment was there, or if the young players are going to play any tournaments without increment in the end, they might happen to come in a position where the clock goes down almost, and then sooner or later, of course, they have the right to stop the clock and ask for the referee, because you can claim a draw. But of course, it's a little bit different nowadays with increment, because you always have these 30 seconds. But if you play a tournament without increments, you can do that when the time tells you to do it, so you don't lose some time when you have a drawn position.
yeah, true.
Yeah.
So if you're not super tired, I really would like to show another example.
Would be very nice. What did you say, Borisova, Arvid? Because you still want one more example? I don't hear any no, so let's take it for a yes.
Yeah, I just asked to unmute.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's
Thank
good.
you very much. Namaste. Yeah, so I have plenty of my examples. I have 14. I'm not sure if you can see, but I have 14
Yeah, we
of
see.
them.
Yeah.
But I have also few. I also have an example from Fagernes Open. But yeah, we have not. Maybe some next time. But I wanted to show example of Arthur Snakeshans who played against Eduard Romain, and that was a few years ago in 2016 in French championship, this top 12 famous tournament, very strong tournament. At that moment he was also on his peak, 26-27. Eduard had 26-41, and it's one of my favorite examples. So of defense. Let me see. It was a very sharp Taimanov line, super complicated, very precise, and let's just skip it. I want to, yeah, let's start this position, knight c5, knight f2. So this position appears on the board. Let's count the material and understand what's going on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Everything is equal, but black has extremely weak double pawns. Minor pieces, white's minor pieces are way better centralized, well placed in the center, has better perspectives, while both bishop and knights, they're like from different families. I don't know. They're not working together. I don't know. Maybe they don't like each other. And somehow, yeah. Coordination of black's pieces are pretty terrible, and position looks, to be honest, pretty bad. So Eduard plays bishop d4, attacking the knight. And what do we have here? We have Ingvar. Please help me. Tell me, please, 3 candidates.
Three
moves.
candidate moves, okay?
Yeah.
So when a piece is attacked, you have to either you have to save it to move it, or you have to attack the enemy piece, or you have to do something which seems to be very strange, but there's some idea behind it. For example, a check, but okay, there is no check in this position, so one candidate move would be to, of course, to move to g4.
Yes.
Or another first sight idea would to okay, if you have an opposite colored bishop ending, you could probably discuss with yourself if d6 was an idea.
And probably that's it, because knight h1 is not really a move. Yeah. No. Well,
but yeah. Some other strange idea. Some other strange idea would be b3 or to sacrifice this bad pawn, but
okay. So, but basically, main moves are main candidates are knight g4 and d6, and yeah. So I'm pretty sure Arthur's also made pretty much the same operations in his head. Thought about pretty much the same things, and I will show you what happens after knight g4. The problem is probably white continues to attack it by playing h3, and after knight h6, I'm not even sure, but I think G4 looks so natural, and now just both minor pieces are super limited. Not a single chance for black to, I don't know for what, just for nothing. Just terrible position. Better not to look. 18 plus, I don't know, very bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, Arthur's made the only and very right decision to go to the opposite color bishop endgame. So he plays d6, bishop f2, takes. So he already sacrificed one pawn, and it looks like he will lose another pawn. And when I said about this yacht or whatever boat or something, yeah. So you just try to find this safe place where you can save your game, and again, it's either rook endgame or opposite color bishop endgame. And this pawn is not alive anymore. Well, technically it is, but not in the near future. And one of the best, another best coaches from Latvia, I'm pretty sure you know him, Zigor Slanka. He's working in Germany most of his time. You can also not know him, but he was also my coach for a very long time, and he has this a lot of very fun ways how to describe chess and some chess patterns. And what he says that trash is not moving. So that means this is already basically a trash, and you don't need this one, but you can get rid of it and in the best way. And the best way is to play b3, to sacrifice it this way, to give it this way, because if we imagine, let's say, I don't know, bishop b7, g3, king d7, bishop b4, then plan for white could be extremely simple. They're just coming closer with a king. They're playing c4. They're exchanging this pawn, and then I have two pass pawns. So should be easily winning. Or a4 and then the same a4, another idea. But it's all the same. So Arthur's definitely, before even playing d6, he saw this idea. He plays b3, and now I like sometimes to use football terminology in chess. So if these guys are potential attackers, yeah, we also have some defenders, and by playing b3, we're just reducing amount of attackers to 1. So it's not 3 anymore, it's already 2. And it's not so easy to make a progress. So everything he does now, he tries to activate his king. It wasn't necessary though to bring it to the very center, but okay, why not? So he tries to get control over the center, and says, nope, you will not reach your destination point. Although, of course, he's trying to come closer and closer, and then he plays c4. And why I like this example so much, because again, of course, if we take on c4, then what was the reason to reduce attackers to 1? So now it's again 2, and we're losing. So what is wrong with you? But the whole point of this idea is you're just, in this moment, you have to take a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and play some move like bishop b7. So just aesthetically, you should be satisfied for at least today. Because the reason is, if c takes b5 immediately or later, it's all the same. It's impossible to make progress anymore, and it is very instructive endgame, because even having 3 extra pawns, never ever whites can create any progress in this position, because I'm just playing king c8 and then I don't know, any moves in this long diagonal, and I'm controlling, or bishop d5, bishop a8, bishop d5, bishop a8, and it's just drawn. Okay, Eduard tried, he waited, but in reality it doesn't make any sense, because yeah, he just went, he protects the pawn, so there is some march of the king to the catch this h5 pawn, but then bishop comes to the help, and yeah, now as soon as king comes to attack h5 pawn, then he plays bishop f5, bishop f3, sorry. Then he goes back to attack e6 pawn, and he goes back to protect it. And now king defending all this, I don't know, is it the tower? Not a Pisa tower, but but kind of a tower, I think.
Pawn tower. Yeah.
Pawn tower, yeah, and a bit of bishop. Yeah, so yeah, he just came with a king, defending against this tower. Yeah, just waiting, chilling, drinking tea, coffee, knowing Arthur's probably coffee. Yeah, so he's waiting. Doesn't matter. You can add a few more pawns to b3, b5, b1. You're very welcome. You can ask for some more pawns, your friends, nearby board. It will not help you. Yeah, so he defended, and he doesn't need to go anywhere right now. And I really like the end of this game, because when Eduard plays h4, he even sacrificed another pawn. So, and now he has full defense here. This pawn will never come closer, and he can just wait with a king or with a bishop as well. So even being 4 pawns down, just imagine. How is it? It's like 4 pawns. It's like the whole bishop,
almost, yeah,
or knight, or almost rook down, and still a draw. That's why I said a lot today about these safety kits and safety bags, and even making a mistake during the game, it doesn't mean that we're losing. Even having a very bad times, still we have plenty of options, but it's all in our hands. And unfortunately, or not unfortunately, but yeah, that's how it is. We're not expecting. Usually, we're expecting some good things, and in reality, everything is happening in our lives. And yeah, what we can do, we can just fight till the end, I think. So yeah, save, think a lot, learn a lot, and save a lot of points in your careers.
Very nice example in the end here, I think, Nikita. Very instructive, I think.
Yeah, I really like. It's one of my favorite, to be honest. So yeah, so if you have any questions, with pleasure I will answer. If you're not too tired, too exhausted.
Okay, Borisava, Arvid, Kasuga. I'm not completely sure who Kasuga is, but any one of you? Do you
What
have
was
any?
the name of your psycholog? Arthur. No, Arthur.
Yes, Arthur's Nations.
Makes sense.
Nations.
He's a chess player also.
Yeah, he's a very
Strong grandmaster.
strong grandmaster from Latvia as well.
Okay. Has he written the book? Or?
Well, he's working as author in modern chess. He already wrote about Sicilian, this Moscow variation, and lately I've seen his material about Karakan. But yeah, he works also in Riga Chess School, so he was my coach actually for a very long time. So
I know modern chess. I can look. Yes, and you named Sergei. It's Sergei Tivyakov.
no. Mm-hmm.
Is that a coach, Sergei something?
No, it was Zigor Slanka. Lanka. Lanka. Sorry.
Latvian.
Yeah, also Latvian. Promoting Latvians. No, I mean they're doing a good job. I mean, yeah.
Well, okay, Nikita, I think, thank you. Okay,
Thank you.
Borisava, and all you other ones who joined in for this masterclass.
Thank you
So
very much,
it's
Nikita.
Bye. Thank you.
getting very, very, very late for the young guys here.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So it's better to let them go to bed. Let's ourselves, maybe we can have a cup of coffee or something to digest your examples here.
Sure.
And thank you very much again, Nikita. We are looking indeed forward to next time we have the opportunity to have another webinar with you. So I hope you will get some opportunity to play chess for not so far into the future, but of course we don't know exactly today when it will be, but we will sure follow you.
Thank you very much. And yeah, for those who are interested, I'm not sure if it's necessary, but again, I've prepared way more materials, and I think even I've missed something, but I have at least 14 games, and I will find a few more. So in case you're interested, I can send.
Yeah, you can send the PGN files to
just
me,
PGN,
and then
and yeah, so
that's okay.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you very much again, and have a nice evening, everybody.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.